Obstürmt oder steigt,
und die Sonne uns lacht, der Tag kühlen meist, oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaunt sind die Gesichter, doch wo ist unser Sinn, ja, unser Sinn.
Welcome back to the Trolls. We are again playing some Clash of Steel now that we're all cleaned up from Thanksgiving and we are into December. Today we are going to have the Germans versus the Soviets, and we are taking things up a notch in our Clash of Steel games. We are going up to 125 points. We are going to have the Germans and the Soviets in the clash with the mission rules with delayed reserves and ambush. Thanks to our Dollar Tree find, we now have all these wonderful buildings. We're eventually going to paint them, but for now it's going to be Assault on Christmas Town because it's December, so we might as well play up the December theme. So this is, we're going to have fields, roads, a river, buildings, forests. So that's all of our terrain cleared. Buildings will block line of sight as normal. Forests will be tall terrain and fields will be short terrain. And then we have a few fences scattered in there as well. All right, there's our objectives. 1, 2, and 3. So that's our table. Now we'll take you guys over to the armies. All right, here's a look at our German forces. They're going to be led by a King Tiger HQ. We're going to have a squad of Pumas. We're going to have a squad of 4 Yag Panthers, our first time using them. 3 squads of 3 squads of 4 Tiger 1s. This is what's going to start on the table. We're going to leave the Yag Panthers in ambush. Held in reserve, we're going to have a squad of 3 Panthers, 2 squads of 4 Panthers, and a squad of 4 Panzer 470s. And then we're also taking for our command cards, we're going to have Gunnery Master, Location, 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 and Teamwork. So that is 125 points of Germans. All right, over to the Russians to see what they're bringing. All right, take us through 125 points of Russians.
So on the table, I'm gonna have 5 IS-2s, IS-3s, with the general being in 1. 2 units of 5 IS-2s, 2 units of 4 T-34s. For reserves, got 2 units of 5 SU-100s, 2 units of T-44s, and 5 ISU-130s. And these 3 ISU-152s will be in ambush.
Okay. Did you take any command cards?
1 prior experience. Your commander may re-roll 1 failed to hit roll during each shooting step.
All right. That is our armies. We will go ahead and deploy, and then we will get back to you guys after deployment. Here we are, all deployed for the clash scenario. For the Germans, we've got the Pumas camouflaged here in the fields. We've got a unit of Tiger 1s hiding behind the trees. Unit of Tiger 1s behind the trees over here. Our HQ King Tiger. And our unit of Tiger 1s in this field. And then a unit of Yag Panthers in ambush somewhere on the table. For the Russians, we've got the T-34s and IS-2s, the IS-3s in the woods, another unit of IS-2s, and a unit of T-34s. The Germans have one to see who goes first. So we will see you guys after turn 1. Okay, the Germans came out swinging on turn 1. The Pumas moved up and took that objective. The Tigers here successfully blitzed and managed to take out that whole squad of T-34s on the edge of the field there. This unit failed their blitz test. They bailed one of those T-34s out before the other squad shot. That's all they managed to do. Over here, these Tigers successfully blitzed and then did a shoot and scoot, but they couldn't scratch anything on those T-34s there. And then the commander just moved up to try and support them. So that's where we're at the end of turn 1. The Germans have 9 points to 0 for the Soviets. But now we're going to move over to Soviet turn 1 and see how they respond. All right, end of Soviet turn 1, and this is where we sit. The T-34s and IS-2s moved up here. The T-34s took out one Tiger. The IS-2s couldn't really hit anything. Over here, the IS-3s tried to take out some of these Tigers, but couldn't hit. And the IS-2s moved around to try and take out the Pumas, but the Pumas played their camouflage card this turn, so they're at least safe for one more round. At the end of the turn, the Soviets scored 1 point for contesting this objective, and the Germans scored another 4 points. So we are sitting at 13 points to 9. I'm sorry, 13 points to 1 in favor of the Germans. So we are going to move over to German turn 2. All right, end of German turn 2, and this is where we sit. Our turn 2 objective is now delayed, so nobody can score points off of that until turn 6. These Tigers here fired into those T-34s, but even at close range, we only managed to destroy one. We bailed one out, but he got back in. The commander, he failed a blitz test and couldn't really do anything. These guys over here just moved up behind the building. One of them was brave enough to go and score the objective, but they're going to get mangled by those IS-3s next turn. Over here, these guys bounced some shells off of the IS-2s over there, and the Pumas just skirted around the objective to try and hold that for another turn. So for the objectives, the Germans scored another 6 points for that objective and that objective. So it is now sitting at 19 points to 1 for the Russians. So we are on to Soviet turn 2, and we will see what they can mount. At the end of Soviet turn 2, the IS-2s have come around and taken out one of the Pumas. They're not quite close enough to take that objective or contest it, so the Pumas still have that one. The, what are these guys again?
The 152s?
The 152s were in ambush. They came out and took out 2 of my Tigers. The IS-3s came around here and took out 2 of the Tigers and now have control of that objective. The Soviets also swapped the objective card on this one, and it's now high ground. So now we can score points on that one. The T-34s and the IS-2s knocked out these 3 Tigers. This guy's just out of range, so the Soviets now have that objective too. So the Soviets have scored 2 objectives, and I control 1. So the Germans are still ahead 22 points to 7 as we head into German turn 3, and we will start rolling for reserves. Hopefully some reserves come in because things are starting to thin out. All right, we'll see you guys after German turn 3. Alrighty, at the end of German turn 3, I revealed that my Jagdpanthers had been sitting in ambush here all along. They managed to bail out one of these T-34s and destroy one. And this fella bailed one out and destroyed one because he successfully blitzed around that corner. One of them remounted, and then he did pass his last stand check. Over here, the commander and these two remaining Tigers successfully blitzed, came around the side of the IS-3s, and together they took out 4 of them. Over here, these Tigers plucked off one of those IS-152s. And over here, I had a squad of Panthers arrive from reserve. Them and the pack wagons bounced some shells off of these IS-2s, but to very little progress. But on that turn, the Germans did manage to gain 4 points for holding this objective, contesting that one over there, and the Russians gained 4 points for contesting and holding and contesting. So both sides got 4 points that turn. The Germans are up to 26 to how many for the Russians? 11. So we're still sitting on a pretty good lead, but lots of game left. This is an 8-round game, so we'll see how things go. We are off to Russians turn 3, and we'll see how many reserves they get. All right, turn 3 is the turn the Soviets strike back. They did make their reserve roll, so they brought in a unit of IS-130s over here. The T-34s bounced some shells off this lone Tiger, but then the IS-2s ended up taking him out. Over here, the IS-3s finished off these 2 Tigers, so that's 2 units that were wiped out that the Soviets got points for. Over here, the 152s bounced some shells off of these guys. And over here, the IS-2s destroyed one more of the Pumas. Now the Soviets are contesting this objective. They control this one, and they control this one. So they are gaining up on points. They have 24 points this turn, and the Germans still got a point for contesting this one over here, so they are up to 27. So the Germans only have a slim 3-point lead right now as we go into turn 4, where we'll be rolling 2 dice for reserves. All right, we'll see you guys after German turn 4. End of turn 3, and the Germans are holding strong to their 3-point lead. The Jag Panthers here finished off those T-34s on that objective, but the IS-2s there are still close enough to hold that objective. Over here, the commander moved up to contest this objective, but he wasn't able to do anything to those IS-3s. Over here, these Tigers successfully blitzed, bailed out those 2 152s, and then did a shoot and scoot back behind the building. One of those 152s remounted and passed his last stand check. The other one is still bailed out. Over here, the Pumas tried to do a sneaky move around the side of the IS-2s to shoot them in the side, but they failed their blitz move, and both shells ended up bouncing off. The Panthers fired some shots their way, and I think destroyed one of those IS-2s. So that is pretty much where we stand. Both the Germans and the Soviets each scored 5 points this turn. So we are sitting at 32 points for the Germans and 29 for the Soviets. So we will head into Soviet turn 4. This turn, the Germans did not get any reserves, so hopefully the Soviets don't have any extra shots coming in, because I don't know how much more the Germans can take. All right, we'll see you guys after Soviet turn 4. At the end of turn 4, the Soviets are moving on up. They did have a reserve come in. They had the T-44s come in over there. The IS-130s bounced some shells off my commander. That's about all they did. Over here, the IS-2s managed to bail out one Jag Panther and destroy another. The T-152s just kind of stayed put there. And then over here, the IS-2s turned and took out the last of the Pumas. So the Soviets gained 7 points this turn for holding this objective, contesting this objective, and taking that objective, in addition to the 3 points for the Pumas. And the Germans got 1 point there. So now the Soviets are up by 39 points to 33. So we'll see if the Germans can take the lead back on German turn 5. Okay, at the end of German turn 5, we got another squad of Panthers in. They rolled up here. Our one Panther here finally remounted at the end of the turn. We managed to bail out 2 of these guys with combined fire from both of these units, but they got back in. Over here, these Tigers cranked their turrets around and they took out the last guy of that IS-3 squad. So they just have the commander there is the last one of that. Over here, the Panthers managed to take out one more of those IS-2s. But we couldn't do much to the others. So that gives us contesting this objective, contesting that objective. The Soviets still hold that one, and we got points for wiping out this squad of IS-3s. So that has the Germans sitting at 38 points to 44 for the Soviets as we head into Soviet turn 5. Okay, the Soviets got some more reserves at the end of turn 5. They brought on a unit of T-44s. Over here, these guys bounced some shells off the Panthers. The IS-130s bounced some shells off my commander. The IS-3s and the SU-152s tried to take out these last 2 Tigers but failed. And these IS-2s managed to destroy one Panther and bail out another. So at the end of the turn, the Soviets contest this objective, contest that objective, and still hold that one. So the Soviets are up to 49 points and 40 for the Germans. Hopefully on turn 6, maybe the Germans can start to finish off some of these smaller Soviet squads. All right, we are heading on to German turn 6. And we'll see you guys after that. All right, some moderate success at the end of German turn 6. We got another squad of Panthers in. They came in on this side of the table. We're still contesting this objective here. This poor Panther that's bailed out hasn't gotten back in yet. These Panthers, when they came in, did bail out one of those IS-152s, but he remounted at the end of the turn. These Tigers here managed to take out the Soviet commander, scored us 3 points for that, and gave us this objective. My commander tried to lob some shells at these IS-2s, but they managed to bounce off. And all these Yag Panthers and Panthers together just destroyed one of these IS-2s and bailed out another one. He is still currently bailed out. So that is where we sit. It is at 47 points for the Germans and 53 for the Soviets. So still a very tight game. We're going to head into Soviet turn 6, and we'll get back to you guys in a few. Here are things at the end of Soviet turn 6. The 152s came around and took out one of the Panthers over here. Both of these Tigers ended up getting bailed out by that unit of T-44s. One remounted and then passed his last stand check. So hopefully the other one will remount next turn. Over here, they threw a lot of shells from these T-44s and these IS-2s into the Panther or the Jag Panthers. One managed to bail out. He did not remount. What are these guys? IS-100s arrived over there. So the Soviets right now are sitting at 58 points to 52 for the Germans. Soviets are in control of this objective. Germans are in control of this one, and we are both contesting this one. So that is where we sit. We are moving on to German turn 7 with a very close margin. Turn 7 was good to the Germans. Panzer 470s came in from reserve. Panzer 470s and the Jag Panthers together managed to destroy another IS-2 over here, bailed out 2 others. One of them did remount, and he did pass his last stand check. These Panthers took fire at these T-44s and destroyed 2 of them. Moving along over here, the commander tried to throw his shots in there, but didn't amount to much. This Tiger, this one was bailed out. He remounted at the end of the turn, but the commander there blitzed around to the side of these 152s, and he put 2 shots into them, bailed out one, and destroyed the other one. And then the Panthers finished off the bailed out one. And then the Panthers over here finished off the IS-2s and claimed that objective. So now the Germans have pulled ahead with 64 points, and the Soviets have 58 points. So we have a really close game. 59. So we have a really close game here. Separation of only 5 points as we head into Soviet turn 7. End of Soviet turn 7. The IS-100s, the last Soviet reserve unit, came on there. They tried to take out this Tiger commander and failed. The T-44s, however, took out his squad mate. That's all that happened over there. The T-44s crept around to the side of the Panthers, destroyed one and bailed one out. But he remounted at the end of the turn. The IS-130s tried to throw some shots at the Jag Panthers and only bailed one out. He ended up remounting at the end of the turn. The last of the IS-2s tried shooting at the Panzer 470s and didn't do anything. This guy here, he did not remount at the end of the turn. So with 2 objectives held and 1 contested, the Germans are up to 71 and the Soviets are up to 60. So the Germans are getting a more comfortable lead as we head into turn 8, last turn of the game. Here we are at the end of German turn 8. This unit of Panthers blitzed up to here. This unit of Panthers blitzed up to here. These guys tried to throw some shots at those IS-100s and missed. This squad of 3 Panthers threw 6 shots at those IS-100s, 5 hits and 5 penetrates, and the whole squad was taken out. So then this Tiger had nothing to shoot at to his front and managed to bail out one of those T-44s. The commander here destroyed one of these T-44s over here. The Panthers destroyed one and bailed out another. The other Panther from here, he bailed out another one. The Jag Panthers finished off these IS-2s over here. And the Panzer 470s, oh, you know what? They contributed to the shots here on the T-44s. So we ended up taking out that squad back there and capturing, and this squad here of the IS-2s and capturing all 3 objectives. So that has the Germans at the end of turn 8 up to 83, and the Soviets are at 60. So the Soviets are going to concede at the end of German turn 8. and we're not going to finish out Soviet Ternate. But that was a good game. We had a lot of good back and forth there. Who do you want to say is your man of the match?
Definitely the IS-2s. They managed to hang out for a pretty long time, and I definitely think they make good, generally core heavy hitter units.
Yeah, they make good objective holders because they've got decent armor that can soak up a lot of shells. Both units on the flanks there like that really kept you in the game and held those two objectives up for you. I want to say, I think my man of the match is probably the Panthers. They just did some good work all throughout the game. A lot of back and forth. And just, slowly picking off units. I was quite pleased with them. The Gag Panthers were fun. First time using them, they threw some good shots out there. Though I think maybe I need to put them in a spot where they have more open shooting. They kind of were boxed in over here.
Yeah, they were always stuck behind those wrecks.
Yeah. We even managed to run out of fireball tokens and had to start using the destroyed tokens that came with the game. But that was fun. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Anything else you want to say about this game?
I definitely like the 152s as an ambush unit. I think I might try to get a few more of them.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice little unit there.
Mm-hmm. At first, I wasn't too keen on using them that much, since when we first started, they were going up against heavy American armor that came in the starter box. But
yeah,
against Tigers and Panthers, they definitely do quite a bit of work.
Yeah, I think what comes in the American side of the starter set is a little unbalanced in terms of the armor and anti-tank they have. But I think going up against the Germans and the British, they have some good targets. Yeah. All right. What do you think you want to play next? Do we want to do some fantasy next or some more Clash of Steel?
Maybe some fantasy.
All right. So hopefully we'll be back to see you all later this month of December with some fantasy before Christmas. But if we don't see you again, everybody have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you guys in the New Year. All right. Again, we have a German victory here in Clash of Steel over the Soviets. Doesn't happen often, but it is nice when it happens. The Germans managed to hold off the Soviet hordes. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Verstanden,